Okie dokie. Can everybody hear me and see me okay? I can either get a yes in the chat or a yes on mute, just so that I know that everything's working right.
Mvhayv.
Yes. Hey, Stongo Fulatska, how are all y'all doing? Okay, so we're doing lesson 4 for sentence building and Mvskoke structure. And today's is negation with Ometv and asking questions with Ometv. So we're still working with the same verb. We're just going to add one more little thing to it to kind of diversify our sentences. Look at the chat. Yes, good, good, good. Okay, awesome. And I got the board working again. So we're set. Okay. Okay. So before we begin, this right here, means before we begin. And then let's review. So what did we cover in lesson 3 and how much do you remember? So the first one for us to talk about is how do you form less? So that was the last of our easy conjugation forms, right? This one only has 2 steps. What's the first step? Nice, I saw you say it. You drop, ida. What's the second step? Nice, I saw you say it. Add a geese or a geese, depending on your dialect, a geese or a geese. Nice. How about this guy? What does the verb Ometv mean? You can't see the board? Can everybody see the board? You can? Okay. So, Christy, you might need to leave and come back or something. It might be something like that. Cindy also can't. If you cannot see the board, leave and come back real quick. I'll wait a second. I'll wait right here. Okay. Nice. Yes. I was pausing for a second to make sure that people who got a chance to come back in real quick. Still doesn't fix it. I'll just try resharing. But yes, Ometv. Ometv means purple's not a good choice. This background color. Let's do white. There we go. You can see that. Means to be. To be. So what are the different forms of Ometv when conjugated, right? We need to think of the main types. There's first, second, and third, singular, and plural, right? And yesterday we went through that chart that kind of made it not so scary looking. So if you have that chart, I would take it out. But basically that means we have to do an I, a you, a we. Sorry, I skipped one. I'll add it here. He, she, it. We have to do a y'all. And we have to do a they. Those are the conjugation forms we have in Mvskoke. I, you, we, he, she, it, y'all, and they. So for Ometv, does anyone remember what any of these forms are? Yes, alejijida means to begin or to start. Nice. So how about for I? Does anyone remember what I am is?
Dois.
Nice, dois. Dois. You. How about you? And remember any of the forms for you? And a lot of them. I think I saw somebody's face move and do them. Let's do them over here because there's multiple. Oh, not yet. You're getting there. You're getting it. Soon.
Donches.
Nice. One of them is donches.
Donches.
Next is donskis. Then we also have, it continues, dowitskis. And dowitchkis. You has the most variations of options. And remember, you can just choose one if there's one that you like better. You can be like me and it kind of ends up floating just because I usually speak one and my coworkers, some of them speak a different one, so. Okay, we, what is we? We are. Nice, so your face movement, it has the same sound as we, the English word, so it's dois. That long E, dois, dois. Okay, and then he, she, or it, this is the most common form of is. Most common form of is.
Dos.
There we go. Dos. Dos. That's the one that most people think of. Dos. Yes, dos. Okay. Y'all. We'll do y'all over here. Okay. What's y'all?
Dowachkis.
Nice. Dowachkis. And it has one other form. Nice. I saw your face do it. This part changes. Comes Dowatskis. And either is fine. You can choose either one. And then last but not least, they are. Which one is that one?
Dogus.
Nice. Dowagus.
Oh, Dowagus. Dowagus.
Dowagus,
Yeah, that's
yes.
right, Dowagus.
That's because that A is conjugated, which means it's longer. So Dowagus.
Mvhayv?
Yes.
This is probably just obvious, but the only E in this that's the long E is dois, and all the others are the shorter.
Yes, so we is the only one that is a for sure long E to wees. Some dialects will take the y'all and the you and make those long as well. So don't skis, doitskis. But not all dialects do that. So I've heard both. But the one that for no matter what, we is a long E to wees. Yes, and then what was the special thing about they, the dowagus? Anybody remember the special thing?
Was
Might
it
be a
the
little bit of an abstract question. Oh, say
sometimes
again.
the plural goes in the noun?
Wait, say that one more time.
Sometimes the plural goes in the noun and you use dos instead.
Yes, exactly. So if the noun can show plural, we're usually going to use dos. If the noun cannot show plural, that's where we will add that dowagus. Nice, yes, exactly. So commonly, my two examples are, we usually have a way to change human-based nouns to plurals, right? So hogwiwa, child, that's a human thing. So hogwidagi, children, that's a human thing. So we can use hogwidagi, dos, for that, hogwidagi dos. But I'm talking about apples, sada, right? Or sada flacco, sada. I can't multiply that in the noun. In Mvskoke, you can't add an S, be like, I got sadas. You can't do that. It doesn't work. So instead, we use the verb to show it. So it'll be dowagus. Dowagus. Nice, awesome. It feels so good to be able to use the pen again. Okay. So let's look at that with clear. It has all of it nice and laid out for us. So let's look at it one more time. Using a geese, you take that ida form, you drop the ida, you add a geese. So if I have, let's do, let's do Mijida. It means to do. I want to say let's do it. The first thing I do is drop it. I have mij. I add that agits. Mijagits. Let's do it. Mijagits. Nice. The verb omeda means to be, right? Blank is blank. To be. And then here are the conjugated forms. We have I am. Excuse me. I am the ways, right? And then say this with me, just so we get it in our brains before we go on to adding a little bit more to that, right? So I say, you say, I am the ways. The ways. See this one? You are. We're gonna do the first one. Don'tjes. Don'tjes. Second one. Don'tskis. Don'tskis. Third one. Dowitskis. Dowitskis. And fourth one. Dowitskis. Dowitskis. He, she, or it. The one you're most commonly hear. Dos. Dos. This guy. We. That's the one with the long E. If you need to write that line, write that line. Dois. Dois. Nice. Y'all. Y'all are Dowatskis. Dowatskis. And then, last but not least, can you see the very bottom? I feel like it's cutting off for me, so I'm like wondering. There we go. Okay, now I can see it. I hope you can see it. So down there, it's they, Dowagas. Dowagas. Perfect. Okay. Let us clear that. Head on over to the next one. Okay, so we're going to practice this one more time. These have pieces of everything we've learned so far. So let's see if we can do it before you add on that last, this last new group. Ooh, no. Okay, you gotta spoil it. You gotta spoil it. So because of that, we're starting down here instead. We're starting at they are dogs. So they are dogs. We're gonna put that one into Mvskoke. So we start with the noun, right? So the first word is gonna be what? And you can say it in English if you don't know the Mvskoke word.
Ifa.
Ifa. Nice. So the first word is gonna be dogs. So ifa. And then they are. Do we have a way to show multiple ifa? No, it's not an animal. Or sorry, it's not a human. We don't. There's ways you can get around it, but they're not necessarily correct. So ifa, we don't. So what do we add to show that multiple for they?
Dogus.
Nice. Dowagas.
Dogus.
Dowagas. Nice. Okay, let's stay in English mode. Let's sleep. Let's sleep. Remember, specifically for 3 people, right? Because we have different forms. Anybody remember what the form for to sleep 3 people is? I'll give you a hint. All of them start with noj.
Well, if it was ho, it would be 2, but
Yep, notorious too.
No J-Jux.
Ooh, no jajada. Yes, yes, yes. No jajada for 3 or more. So you're really close. You said you all sleep. We're saying let's sleep. So the way we do that, right? We take off that ida. So no jaj, and we add a geet.
Oh,
No jaja geets. Nice. No jaja geets. No jaja geets. Let's sleep. So this is what I say to my family at night. No jaja geets. He's thinking no jaja geets. Sleep well. Let's sleep well. Okay, you are a cat. So we gotta find our noun. Our noun's gonna be what guy? Which word?
Bozy.
Cozy.
Nice. Cat. So first word, bozy. Bozy. Now we have to say you are. Which word was you are?
Dowitskis.
Nowitskis. Slash all the other versions. So slash, etc. So whichever version you like. Okay, And then we are students. And you remember what the word for student was? It was one of the words on yesterday's slide.
Chugahija.
Nice. Joga. Hija. So literally, that means book looker. The student is somebody who looks at books a lot, right? So joga hija, joga hija. And now we have to say we are.
Dois.
Nice, that long E, just like we, dois. Dois, joga hija, dois. We are students, joga hija, dois. Now, fun fact, this guy, students are humans, right? So we can actually change this into a multiple if we need to. Joga, hijalgi. We add our algi. Algi means a group of people, right? That's why when we talk about clans, we add that algi, it's that group of people. So if Loja is turtle, turtle clan is Lojalgi. It's that algi because it's a group of turtle people, right? Heck yeah, awesome. Okay, let's go to this side. Mvhayv. Mvhayv. What does that mean?
Is it listen? Let's listen.
Nice. Yes. So we have our ending, agates, that's the let's. And then Mvhayv is listen. Oh, sorry, spelled that wrong. Listen. Let's listen. Nice. Let's listen. Awesome. How about this one? Potatoes. Potatoes.
You're a woman?
Close.
I'm a woman.
I'm a woman. Yes. And remember, the waist has an I in it. So it's the I form. The waist. I am a woman. I am a woman. I am a wow. I'm tired. I am a woman. Okay, this one. Mvhagados. This one has two nouns in it.
That's a cow.
Nice, exactly. That. Waga is cow. That is a cow. Nice. That is a cow. Mvhagados. Last one. Honanwa Dowatskis.
Y'all are men.
Nice, exactly. So Dowatskis, well, I did that a little bit too close to it, Dowatskis, right? It has that same kind of feel as you as well, but it's got the ah for y'all. Y'all. So this is the y'all are, and then Honanwa is man. But since this is a multiple, y'all are men. Y'all are men. Nice, awesome. Okay, so let's look at that one more time with the pretty answers, the pretty type. Okay, so starting on the left side, this guy first. I say you say, Mvhayv. Mvhayv. Let's listen. This one, I'm a woman. Potatoes. Potatoes. Nice. This guy, that is a cow. Mvhagados.
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 Nice. And then this guy, y'all are men. Honanwa Dowatskis. Honanwa Dowatskis.
Dowatskis.
Yes. Okay, this side, we are students. Joga hija dois. Joga hija dois. Perfect. Okay. And then you are a cat. We have a lot of options. Let's do this first one. Ozy donchis. Ozy donchis. Nice. This guy, let's sleep for 3 or more people. No jajagits. No jajagits. Nice. And last but not least, they are dogs. Ifa dowagus. Ifa dowagus. Awesome. Okay, so before we move on, then any questions? This is our time to go through.
Yeah, for to listen, is there a form of that verb bohida?
Yes, that means to hear.
Oh, to hear, okay.
Yeah, and that's a common thing that will happen for certain types of words, right? So, oheda is to hear. And a lot of times, we don't, even though to hear and listen, we know our different words. We don't think about it, very hard. So, we have to remember, oheda is to hear versus mabojeda is to listen. They come from boheda. They both have the same root. Boheda is the same root. And then later, you'll actually learn a boheda. That means to ask, which also comes from the same root. To ask. So there's 3 words right there, all coming from the same root.
There's not a bohejida form of to listen. I'm not saying there is, it just,
Bohejida would be like to make hear.
oh, to make, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be like to make hear.
That makes sense.
Any other questions? If not, I'm looking, double checking these guys. Okay, cool. Awesome. So our next part is negation with Ometv. So first, let's look at this guy down here. What is, oh, there we go. What is negation? So negation is used for making a sentence negative. Basically, when we want to say not or no, right? So the difference between I eat or I don't eat, right? This is the negation, the negative part, don't. Ometv is a special case. So the form used to say is not is completely different than when we talk about any other verb. Ometv has its own special form. So for other things, we're gonna add this little piece that we'll see later. We'll go more into depth, but it looks like equal. But Ometv doesn't do this. Ometv has its own special thing. It's like, it's the only verb that does this. So that's the good news. It's the only exception. So let's look at it. Personally, I think it's actually even easier. Dogle. It uses what we call dogle. Oh, let's try to change my color real quick. It uses dogle. So basically, we can think of, for this purpose, dogle as literally meaning not. So the way we form a sentence with dogle is we have our same first noun that we don't have to have if the verb shows it. We have our second noun that we do have to have. And now we insert dogle before the Ometv form that we need. So our examples being this, yeah, droga, book, dogle, not, dos, it is, which becomes this is not a book. This is not a book. Let's do that again with dos. We're going to use dos again. So let's say, it is not a horse. So our word for horse is slakko. So this, the positive version of the sentence would be slakko dos, right? And that'd be, it is a horse. Horse, it is. So we're making this negative now. We put slakko. Now we need not, it is. We add dogle. And now we add dos. Slakko dogle dos. Slakko dogle dos. It is not a horse. It is not a horse. So let's look at that with our chart again. So coming back, the scary chart from, keeps not wanting me to draw There we go. Let me draw. So we are back to our really scary chart that we're gonna get really used to looking at, so it's not that bad. So right, first person singular, that's the I, me form, right? So we're saying I am not. I am not. So it's not, which is that dogo, and then it's literally the same I am from before. Dogo, the waste. So I am not a cat. Cat, not, I am. Borzy, dogo, dois. Borzy, dogo, dois. I am not a cat. First, second person singular, AKA you. You are not, is what we're saying. We have all of our forms, but we put dogo first, not, and then all of these versions of you are, whichever one you want. So I just chose the first one on my list because it's the fastest. So cat, not, you are. Borzy, dogo, dodges. Borzy, dogo, dodges. Borzy, dogo, dodges. Nice. Third person singular, AKA he, she, or it, somebody over there, right? So we're doing he, she, it is not, right? So we need our not, dogo, and then it is, slash she is, he is. Not slash is, basically, dogo, dos. So cat, not, he or she or it is. Borzy, dogo, dos. Borzy, dogo, dos. Nice, okay. Now we're in our plurals. First person plural, AKA we. So we're saying we are not. We are not. Dogo is not. And then we say we are, like usual. Dois, we are. So cat, not, we are. Borzy, dogo, dois. Borzy, dogo, dois. We are not cats. Second person plural, AKA y'all. So we're doing y'all are not. So we have our not, dogo. And then we have our two forms of y'all are. Y'all are. That kind of looks like it says yan are. Y'all are. So cat, not, y'all are. Borzy, dogo, doatskis. Borzy, dogo, doatskis. And then last but not least, third person plural, AKA they. So they are not, which is dogo, and they are. Doagis. And it follows the same rule otherwise, right? If we can show plural in the noun, we don't show it in the verb, right? So cat, not, they are. Borzy, dogo, doagis. Borzy, dogo, doagis. Borzy, dogo, doagis. Nice. Awesome. So we're really, all we're doing is we're keeping everything the same from yesterday. We're just adding dogo right before it, which means not. So I'm going to clear this real quick so that we can see it. Okay. We're going to say each one 2 times. So let's start with I am not. Ready? I say, you say. Dogo dois.
Dogo does.
Nice. Dogo dois.
Dogo does.
Nice. Let's do this one. We're gonna do each form. Ready? Dogo donches.
Dogo donges.
Yes.
Dogo donches.
Dogo donges.
Nice. Let's do this one. Dogo doetskis.
Dogo doeskis.
Nice. Dogo doetskis.
Dogo doeskis.
Nice. Let's do this one. Dogo doetskis.
Dogo doeskis.
Dogo doetskis.
Dogo
Dogo
doeskis.
doeskis.
Nice. And last but not least, dogo donskis.
Dogo donskis.
Dogo donskis.
Dogo donskis.
Perfect. This is the one probably everybody's the most familiar with, right? Let's do he, she, it, or whatever is not. Dogo dos.
Dogo dos.
Dogo dos.
Dogo dos.
Nice. We are not. Dogo dois.
Dogo dois.
Dogo dois.
Dogo dois.
Nice. Let's do it. Y'all are. Let's do the first one. Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Nice. Let's do the second one. Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Nice. And then last but not least, they are not. Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Dogo Dowatskis.
Perfect. Nice. Any questions? Any questions? Because if not, I think we're going to start practicing this a little bit. I don't see anything. Oh, let's look at the chat. How do you tell the difference between Mvhayv, let's speak, and Mvhayv? Oh, the other one is Mvhayv. Okay, Mvhayv. So let me write it in the chat so you can kind of see the difference. Mvhayv, and that's the version. If you don't do my dialect versus Mvhayv, my dialect. So my dialect is very easy to tell the difference, right? When it's especially when it's written. Mvhayv has a T, you can tell, versus Mvhayv or Mvhayv. So that's how you can kind of tell that difference. That's the let's. You'll notice that second is a V, ug, not an A, ug, versus Mvhayv is they speak. Mvhayv. And then remember also for the let's, it's a long E. Mvhayv, versus Mvhayv. Right, so that's how we can kind of tell the difference when they're written. So some people might make a mistake and write the let's with an A. It's still understandable. At that point, you kind of have to use your puzzle skills, because a lot of times people aren't going to write with the E with the line over it, because that's I don't know the keyboard pattern to do that. I'd have to copy and paste it from Google, right? And some people don't know how to do it on their phone, so they just will skip putting that line over their E's. So that's out. So then on top of that, if they spelled it with an A, you might have a hard time kind of telling which one they meant. So you kind of have to read in between the lines. But when you hear it, they sound different. Mvhayv versus Mvhayv. And then the other thing you mentioned, that same question. And then Mvhayv and Mvhayv. Yes, so, and that's because that's Mvhayv, so that's once again, so you're looking at distant past, which we'll actually talk about, we're gonna talk about past in, I think about 2 weeks maybe. So, the distant past is a dies, and let's is a geese. So the distant past would be Mvhayv versus let's speak is Mvhayv. So they are different. They're not spelled the same either. Let me spell that one different. Mvhayv. They spoke a long time ago versus Mvhayv. Let's speak. So hopefully that kind of helps you visually see the difference and kind of hear it a little bit better. And then when we get to that point, you'll get used to kind of hearing it too over and over again. Okay. So if there's other questions, let's go ahead and do these exercises. Okay, so we're gonna start with let's do it with the Mvskoke side. I like Mvskoke, so let's start Mvskoke side. So waga dogo dos, right? Piece by piece. Waga. What does waga mean?
Cow.
It means cow. So we got cow. Dogo was what?
Not.
Not. And dos is?
Are.
It is, yeah, it is. So in English, how do we say that?
It is not a cow.
Exactly. It is not a cow. It is not a cow. Nice. Okay. This guy. Mvhayv dogo dois. Mvhayv dogo dois. What's our first word mean?
Teacher.
Teacher. Mvhayv. Dogo was what?
Not.
Not. And then dois is which form?
I am.
I am.
I am.
Nice. I am. So that means this guy is what sentence?
I am not a teacher.
I am not a teacher. Nice. I am not a teacher. Awesome. Okay, let's do this guy. If a dogodonskis. If a dogodonskis. Our first word means what?
Dog.
Dog. Dogo is
Not.
Not.
not. And donskis is which form?
You are.
You are. Nice. So our full sentence is
You are not a dog.
perfect. You are not a dog. You are not a dog. Nice. And then last one on this side. Dolosi, dogodogis.
We are
Oh,
not
oh,
chickens.
Nice. We are not chickens. We
Meh.
are not chickens. Heck yes. And that's because dolosi is chicken. And then we have not. And then we have we are. Perfect. We are not chickens. Dolosi, dogodogis. Nice. Okay, now let's switch it. Let's make them in a Mvskoke. So Charles is not a woman. What's the first word in that sentence?
Charles.
Charles?
Nice, Charles. Nice. Okay, what's our next word?
Hopi?
Okti.
Nice. It's woman. Hokti. Hokti. Okay. Is not. We're talking about. Is it I? Is it you? Or is it he? Right? It's he.
Tokatos. Tokatos. Tokatos.
Nice. Dogo.
Tokatos.
Dos.
Tokatos.
Yeah, you're just trying to say it really fast. Charles Hokti Dogodos. Nice. Charles Hokti Dogodos. Nice. Okay, so y'all are not turtles. This one. Y'all are not turtles. What's the first word?
Loja.
Nice. There we go. Loja. Turtles. Loja. So next, what do we put next?
Togo.
Nice. We put our dogo. And then what is y'all are?
Dowatskis.
Nice. Dowa. And I can't tell which one you said out of the two because it was a little bit too quiet. So I'm putting the Dowatskis, but Dowatskis and Dowatskis, both are right. Loja, Dogo, Dowatskis. They are not chairs. Right? Maybe some kids are trying to sit on some art or something. They're not chairs, right? So what's the first word we're gonna put?
Likida?
Ohlegida. Ohlegida, which in some dialects could be ohlegida. Both is correct. So I use the first one, but they're both used ohlegida. They are not. What is our next word?
Dogo.
Dogo.
Perfect. Dogo. And then they are
Dowagis.
Dowagis. Nice. Because we have no way to tell how many chairs I'm talking about if I just say ohlegida, right? I can't make that into a plural. I can't say ohlegidolgi. That's not right. So ohlegida, dogo dowagis. Nice. And then last but not least, this is not food. Your toddler's trying to eat something they're not supposed to. This is not food. What's our first word?
Ya.
Nice. Yeah. For this. Nice. This. What's our next food?
Hombida.
Hombida. Hombida. Nice. That's food. So now we have to do the is not. Right? Which one is that one? We gotta say is not.
Dogo.
Nice. Dogo.
Tokatos.
Dos. Nice. Yeah. Hombada dogodos. I mean, that's basically what I say about this pen. Yeah. Hombada dogodos. This is not food. This is a pen. It's botechkados. You know, technically it's not even that because it's a smartboard pencil. What about first person negation? Dowago dos. So no, we don't use that with this. And that is because we cannot conjugate ego with omeda. So that ago you want to add, that's from the ego from like home we go, home wago, home be ego. That, but we can't do that with omeda. Omeda can only use dogo. It has to use dogo. That's the only way we can make the sentence negative with omeda, dogo. So that's why it's always before. So it has to be for I am not, it has to be dogo dois. Has to be dogo dois, dogo dostis. Now let's get all the pretty text. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna say each one. I'm gonna say it first and you're gonna say it. We're gonna do it 2 times. So it is not a cow. Waga dogo dos.
Wagadogo dos.
Waga dogo dos.
Wagadogo dos.
Nice. I am not a teacher. Mvhayv dogo dois.
Mvhayv dogo dois.
Mvhayv dogo dois.
Mvhayv dogo dois.
Nice. You are not a dog. Ifa dogo doitskis.
Dogo doitskis.
Yeah, I just realized I used doitskis. The one on there is doitskis. I'll use that one for the second one. Ifa dogo doitskis.
Dogo doitskis.
Nice. Next one. We are not chickens. Dolozi dogo dois.
Dolozi dogo dois.
Dolozi dogo dois.
Dolozi dogo dois.
Nice. Now let's do it on the second side. Charles is not a woman. Charles hokti dogo dos.
Hokti dogo dos.
Nice. Charles hokti dogo dos.
Charles hokti dogo dos.
Yes. Okay. Y'all are not turtles. Loja dogo dowatskis.
Dogo
Dogodoskis.
doatskis.
Loja dogo dowatskis.
Dogodoskis.
Nice. They are not chairs. Ohlegida dogo dowagis.
Oklegida Dogodowakis.
Ohlegida dogo dowagis.
Oklegida
Dogo doagis.
Dogodowakis.
Nice. And last but not least, we have this isn't food. Ya hombada dogo dos.
Hombida dogo dos.
Dogodos.
Ya hombada dogo dos.
Yeah.
Hombida dogo dos.
Dogodos.
Nice. Good. Awesome. Okay. Any questions on that before we move on? Because I think we're going to add our second thing for the day.
Mvhayv, you got some hands raised.
I have an unrelated question to this, but I noticed that hombada ends with eda, just like verbs do. Is that ending of a word only for verbs, or is it also for nouns?
That is such a good question. Okay. I'm going to nerd out for a second. This is not something you have to know yet, but this is a fun thing to talk about. So, good question. Hombada. We said that means food. Hombada. It's also to eat. It's both. When I say Mvskoke is a verb-centric language, I mean it. A lot of things come from verbs. So in English, food and eat, they sound nothing alike. They don't come from the same word at all, right? Food and eat. But in Mvskoke, I feel like we just think more like literally, like it just makes more sense, right? Food is literally something you eat. This ida form, I mentioned before, right? It's the infinitive form, AKA the dictionary form. It's also one of the noun forms a verb can take. It's one of the noun forms. There's a few different ones. I think in the future, we'll talk about different forms that verbs can take to become a noun. So a good example would be no gijida means to love. Oh, wait, that's too close. To love. No gichga is the noun love. So this ga is another noun ending we can put on verbs. Not all verbs can take all noun endings. But this ida is in itself a noun ending. So it means both. That's why, like, ohlegida. Oh, I'll put a space, pretend there's no space. Ohlegida. It can mean chair or to sit on top of. Because what do when we sit on a chair? We sit on top of a chair. So it's literally the thing we sit on top of. Hombada is we eat. So food, hombada, the thing we eat. That's kind of how that works. So it's such a good question because that's very much not how it works in English, right? But our language is very verb centric. So many of our words come from verbs, even to the point where like animal names and stuff will come from verbs. Istibaba, right? Man eater, also known as lion. Istibaba, right? Well, this is a noun creator. So this is literally person. And then this is babada or babada, which means to eat, but a specific type of eat. So it's the person eater. Right? But it means lion or person eater. Love is anojichka. Oh yeah, anojichida. I know it. My brain, yeah, it's tired. I'm sorry, I'm used to using the multiple form. When you use that form, when you use it, so that the ida, that's something we'll kind of cover later. It's a specific location, and when we need to make a noun, only certain verbs can take certain ones. There's not a super clear rule. Some just sound right and some don't sound right. I remember like trying to learn certain words. I was like, well, when do I know when to use gut? Just kind of got to practice them a little bit. But we'll talk about that. But exactly. So Randy showed how the word teacher and lesson come from the word to teach. Mvhayv is to teach. Mvhga is a lesson. Mvhayv is a teacher, but they come from the same word. So that's a really good question.
Is that what you're asking?
This is your computer at home.
No,
Any other questions before we move on?
But this is
this is the office. Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was-
Awesome. Okay. Can I hear somebody?
Mine has no room for anything. I have.
So I'm gonna mute you a little bit for a second, Carolyn. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna add our next form. Our next form, the question form of Ometv. So what is a question form? When we want to make a question in Mvskoke, we have to change the ending of the sentence, which we don't do so much in English. In fact, in English, we make it harder. We change the order of the sentence. So, but questions in Mvskoke generally are going to end in a, or d. And this isn't going to be that long e sound. D. So if you've noticed, right? If you've noticed, every sentence we've made with Ometv thus far ends in an S. Orzi, dos. Orzi, dos. That's because this S is what we use to show it's a statement. A statement. Orzi dos. It is a cat. It is not a cat. Orzi dos. So what if we want to ask, is it a cat? We have to change that. This S is going to go away. We're going to change it to these types of sounds. So let's look at what that becomes for Ometv. Here we go. So for Ometv, first person singular, AKA I or me. In other words, am I Doweya? Now that's because Dowes. We're gonna take off this. We had to add the sound. But this doesn't look very nice and it doesn't feel very nice. So to make it easier, we have this Y. It helps us, our tongue get from back here, A to up here, doya, doya. So that's why it's doya. So that's, am I? Doya. So this guy, cat, am I? Bozy, doya. Bozy, doya. Second person singular, AKA you. So this one is, are you? Are you? So for this first form, it becomes donja. Donja. For the second one, it becomes dotska. Dowitska. Dowitska. For this one, dowichka. Dowichka. And the last one, donska. Donska. That's because we just wanted to add that up, right? Now for these, you might be like, well, wasn't this don't skis, right, with this E here? The E is kind of a part of that S. So when I get rid of that S, the E's coming along. Instead, it's gonna be because don't ska doesn't feel right, right? If I kept that E, it'd be don't ska. That's not right. Don't ska. We just want that sound at the end. Clear that just so that we don't have it blocking our sentence. There we go. So, are you a cat? Cat, are you? Borzy donska. Borzy donska. Borzy donska. Third person singular, aka he, she, or it. So, is he? Is she? Is it? Now, we have two options. First one is doa. That's probably the one you've heard before, doa, or D, which you probably also heard before. So this one, cat, is it? Borzy doa. Borzy doa. Is it a cat? Cat, is it? Borzy D. Borzy D. Right? So you might have heard naga geogifgadi versus naga geogifgadoa. They're both the same, D and doa. They're both the same. First person plural, aka we. So are we? That's doia. 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 This Y comes up again because when we want to say this sound next to an naturally, if you think about your tongue, E is actually way over here. E, but is way in the front. So you have to slide. Doia. You naturally make a Y sound. Doia. Doia. But because of that, you can still see it written like this with no Y. And it's not wrong. Most people will opt for the Y though, since you naturally make one. So they're both fine. Doia. So cat, are we? Borzy doia. Borzy doia. Second person plural, aka y'all. So are y'all? Are y'all? Is gonna be dowatska. Dowatska or dowatchka. Dowatchka. Once again, we just need to add that sound. Dowatchka. So cat. Are y'all? Borzy dowatska. Borzy dowatska. And then last but not least, third person plural, aka they. So are they? Are they? Dowaga. 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 So cat, are they? Borzy dowaga. Borzy dowaga. Are they cats? And this follows the same exact rule as it has been, where if the noun can show multiple, you don't need to use the multiple verb version of the verb. Nice. Perfect. Okay. So any questions before we try to kind of look at some example sentences and work through it, or do you want to wait and hold any questions until we're actually working through the sentences? Let me check the chat, see if there's anything. If not, I'm pushing. Next. Okay, so let's actually practice that. Okay, first one. Hope we doggy door. What was hobwidagi?
Children.
Children, exactly, nice. Children. Mendoa is what?
Are you,
Are
is,
they?
Third person.
It's, yeah, technically it is question mark. But we would use it then like are, right? Right, so what's the English of that sentence?
are they children?
Exactly, are they children? Are they children? Okay. This guy next. Yeah, chubujidoa. Yeah, chubujidoa. What's that first word mean?
This.
This. Chubuji is what?
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
Bathroom. Very important word to know. Bathroom. And then doa is what? Is question mark, right? It's the, is it? Or is she, is he, is question mark. So what's this sentence?
This the bathroom.
Is this the bathroom? Is this the bathroom? A little concerned though if you said this, because if it doesn't look like a bathroom, you know, I'm a little worried, but yeah, is this the bathroom?
I have a question. Is hobodagi plural?
Yes, hobwidagi is the plural. That's why I wrote children specifically, yeah. Hobwiwa is child, that's the single. Okay, this one down here, number 3. Loja doweya. Loja doweya, what's loja?
Turtle.
Turtle. What is doweya?
Am I?
Am I? Am I? So what is this?
Am I a turtle?
Am I a turtle?
Monks today.
Am I a turtle? Okay, and then this guy. Judgeki, Dowitska. Judgeki, Dowitska. What is judgeki? This was on your vocab yesterday.
My mother.
Nice. My mom. My mom. And then Dowitska is which form?
Y'all.
Oh, close. Y'all has the ah like in y'all. So this is the other one.
We.
Not we,
You say,
you. So are you. So what's this full sentence?
Are you my mother?
Are you my mom? Yeah. Are you my mom? Are you my mom? Once again, a kind of concerning question. Are you my mom? This one, Bozy Dowaka. Bozy Dowaka. What's the first word?
Cat.
Cat. Nice. Dowaka. What form is that?
Are they?
Are they? Are they? So this sentence is,
Are they cats?
are they cats? Are they cats? Next one. Isti jahta dowatska. What is, let's start piece by piece. What was isti first?
Person.
Person. What was jahta?
Jokta.
Jahta. And then dowatska.
Y'all.
Nice. Are y'all? Are y'all? My y'alls keep looking like a giant N that's backwards. Are y'all? So what is this one in English?
Are y'all Choctaw?
Are y'all Choctaw? Are y'all Choctaw? Nice, awesome. Then on this one, is the Mvskoke the Wea? So we know, we just did this one, this was person, right? So what is the next word?
Mvskoke.
Mvskoke. Mvskoke. What form is the Wea?
We are.
Yes,
Are we?
are we? So what is this one?
Are we Mvskoke?
Are we Mvskoke? Are we Mvskoke? Are we Mvskoke? I like how that became an A. Oh well. This pen is extremely sensitive. Okay, and then Jogahija Doncha. Jogahija Doncha. What's the first word?
Student.
Student. And then Doncha is which form?
You.
Are you? So what's that whole sentence?
Are you a student?
Nice. Are you a student? Are you a student? Nice. Okay. Let me go ahead. Get the pretty words up here instead. We'll go chat real quick. Can y'all post a link for these latest lessons for today? Yes. I'll actually do that in a second. Before we leave, I will do that. So I'll just do the link in a second. Okay. So we're gonna look at the sentences. I'm gonna say them, then you're gonna say them twice. I'm gonna get them embedded in our brains. Okay, ready? So are they children? Hope we doggy doa.
Hope we doggy doa.
Hope we
Hope
dog,
we doggy doa.
hope we doggy dog.
Is this the bathroom? Yeah, juguji doa.
Yeah, jogaji doa.
Dua.
Jugaji doa.
Yeah, juguji doa.
Yeah,
Jugaji
jogaji doa.
doa.
Am I a turtle? Loja doaya.
Loja doya.
Yeah.
Loja doaya.
Loja doya.
Wea.
Where?
Are you my mom? Judgeki dowitska.
Judgki doitska.
Wechka.
Judgeki dowitska.
Judgki doitska.
Are they cats? Bozi dowaga.
Boise Doaga.
Bozi dowaga.
Boise
Doaga.
Doaga.
Are y'all Choctaw? Ishti Choctaw dowatska.
Ishti
Choctaw.
Wetska.
Ishti Choctaw dowatska.
Ishti
Wetska.
Wetska.
Are we Mvskoke? Ishti Mvskoke dowia.
Isti
Ishti
Mvskoke
Wea.
Ishti Mvskoke dowia.
Ishti Mvskoke Wega.
And then are you a student? Jogahija doncha.
Jogahija
Okay. Ohichi. Onchicha.
Jogahija doncha.
Oko Hichi. Donchka. Donch. Doncha.
Doncha. Yeah, it's one of the harder ones in my opinion. That one's not the one I often use. I usually use dowitska.
Wechka.
Oh, I had seen there were some raised hands. Is everybody's hands that were raised if your questions get asked, or do you have questions basically?
I had a question.
Mhm.
I was wondering if there was like a way to say like mama or like kind of like an endearing term for mom.
So I've asked that before, right? Because I'm like, it feels like it'd be really weird to just always say my mom, my mom, my mom, whenever you're talking to her. From my understanding, from what I've been told, you either use judgeki when you're talking about your mom, and when you're talking to your mom, you would use ichki. Which is interesting because we'll learn that online that kind of is something different, but that's what I've heard. Especially from my mom and dad, you can't really take anything off. Versus grandma, for example, is ibuzi, but I could take off that e because there's still a part to make a sentence bozi, and so you can call her bozi for grandma when you're talking to her. So certain ones you can, but certain ones you can't. So I've noticed that, like when they'll like change how they put it. So for the most part, I don't ever ask my mom or my dad in Mvskoke for them. I'll just talk about my mom and dad in Mvskoke. But when I talk to them, I'm just like mom, dad. But on a Creeklish note, so fun fact, the word for mom is ichki, which is why judgeki means my mom. Ichki Ichki means just mom. Well, your aunt on your mom's side. So mom's sister specifically. Your aunt on her side is Ichguji. Trying to make that easier to read. Ichguji. Which literally means little mom. So what some people have started doing for Creeklish, right, mixing Mvskoke and English, some people use Mamoji as a term of endearment, Mamoji, coming from English mom, and then keeping this idea of Uji from Mvskoke, Mamoji. So that's just a fun little fact. Mamoji. Okay. Thor, I think you have your hand raised still. Do you have a question? I hear nothing. Is that no question then?
Yeah. Talking about Ichki, wouldn't that be, I mean, the idea that I've sort of developed is that if it, when it's starting with a E like that, that it's his mother or her mother.
Yes, exactly. So I want to do a lesson in the future where we kind of talk about family members, and in that, we're gonna have to talk about possession. Because there's certain things in Mvskoke that are always possessed, and that's because, you know, a family you can't exist outside of a family, no matter what somebody birthed you, right? Same thing happens with your arms and your legs, right? I can't take off my arm and choose a new arm, can't take it off my head, choose a new head, so they're always owned. So we're gonna talk about in the future how those words kind of work, and they all will usually start with this E. This E. Certain dialects have dropped the E over time, but my dialect, I still use E for every one of them. So we will talk about that because it's such a cool thing, the way the family works in Mvskoke and the way we use our possession then for that. So that'll be a future one, but yes, that Ichki technically would be his, her, or its mom. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, we're gonna make the Mvskoke sentences. We're gonna make them. So, is she a child? Is she a child? Our first word. What's our first word?
A
The
boy.
word.
A boy.
Nice. Exactly the word for child. Hobiwa. Hobiwa. And now we have the is she. Which form is she?
D.
Nice. D
Dua.
or
Dua.
Doa. Hobiwa. Is she a child? Now, this is she. Technically, this sentence could be, is it a child? Is he a child? So if we want to specify, you can add in front. Mahokti, that woman, is she a child? Now, it might sound weird to say like that woman when we're guessing someone's a child, but Hokti is more commonly used than Hokruji in Mvskoke. So that woman, is she a child? Right? Nice. Are you a man? What's our first word?
Nanwa.
Nice. Honanwa. And now we're looking for are you? Which one is are you? There's so many options for are you.
Okay.
There we go. I got one. Donja. Honanwa. Donja. Are you a man? Are they teachers? What's the first word?
Mvhayv.
Mvhayv. The word for teacher. Mvhayv. And now we're looking for are they?
Doaga.
Dowaga. Are they? Now this is another section where teachers, that's something about humans, right? We can actually make that one multiple. Mvhayv. Sorry, let's make that V and L separate enough that it can read it. Mvhayv. So in that case, what ending would I use?
D,
D or
Doa.
Doa. Mvhayv Doa. Are they teachers? Nice. Okay. This one. Are y'all girls? Now for this one, I specifically use the word for girl.
Oktoshi.
Nice. Oktoji.
Oktoshi. Thank you. Oktoshi.
Remember that has that oji, right? Which I just said earlier means little. So little women, they're girls. Oktoji. And then we're looking for are y'all. Which one is are y'all?
Toya.
Oh, close. That's not are y'all. That's am I.
Dowatska.
So Watska.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Don't apologize for making a mistake. We're trying to learn. Oktoji, Dowatska. Oktoji, Dowatska. Next. Okay. Are we students? What's our first word?
Tugohija.
Droga hija. Droga hija. Student. And so are we?
Doia.
Nice. I was gonna say like we, no we. Droga hija, no we. We could say droga hijalgi, right? Because that's a group of humans, students. But we don't really need to because doia, that's already implying multiple, right? I can't be talking about just me and say we. I'm saying we, right? So you don't need to use that version. You can just use the single version. Droga hija, doia. How about this one? Ma'ayo doa. That's the first word.
That hawk.
That, nice, so that. And you said ayo is hawk. And then what's doa?
Is.
Is question mark? Oh, sorry. Yes. I forgot that this is the one I put in here is Mvskoke to English when all the other ones have been English Mvskoke. Oh well. So what's that sentence when it's all done?
Is that a hawk?
Is that a hawk? I was like, why does that look so weird? Is that a hawk? Perfect. Okay, this guy. Back to English. Is she a cat? What's our first word?
Ozi.
Osi.
Ozy. And then we're looking for is she.
Mahokti.
Doa.
Ooh. So is she is going to be doa or
Di.
D. Mahokti, that specifically was to talk about she, to show that we're talking about a girl, right? Now here, the best way we could say it is like, well, it's sort of asking if it's a cat. We don't even know if it's a cat. There's really no good way to say is she, right? Because at least if we knew it was a cat, we could say like the word girl cat after it, right? Or we're just asking if it's a cat. So in Mvskoke, this she is not so important in this case. We just need to know first, is it a cat? And then we can worry about the cat's pronouns. So borzi doa, borzi di. Okay, are these books? What's our first word?
Joga.
Joga. Joga. And then are these?
Dowaga.
Nice, dowaga. Joga dowaga. We have no way to show multiple for books, right? They're not a human thing. They're an object. So joga dowaga are these books? Nice. Okay, I see 2 participants raise their hand. Anybody have a question?
Yes, I was wondering about Hokdachi,
Hokuji, yes.
Hokdaji. If you wanted to, could you make that Hokdajogi? Or does it not?
Hokujogi. I believe you can.
Hokdajogi.
Let's see if Miss Carolyn was still in here. Yes, Miss Carolyn, you are. If I'm wrong, in the chat, Miss Carolyn, correct me. But I'm pretty sure you could say Hokujogi. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't hear it very often, but you can, because for like Giovanni, you can multiply that one as well, Giovanni and stuff. So I imagine yes. I don't see why not. Just don't really hear it very often. Good question though. Okay, so and then I think there were 2 raised hands. Any other questions? Okay, I don't hear anything. So we're going to go ahead and do the sentences. So first one on the left, is she a child? We're gonna say them twice. Obliwa doa.
Obliwa
Weirdo.
Obliwa doa.
doa.
Nice. Next one. Are you a man? Honanwa dowitska.
Hananwa Dowitska.
Honanwa dowitska.
Hananwa Dowitska.
Nice. Are they teachers? Mahaya dawaga.
Mahaya Dawaga.
Mahaya dawaga.
Mvhayv
Mahaya
Eli.
Dawaga.
Are y'all girls? Hokuji dowatska.
Hoktaji Dowatska.
Hokuji dowatska.
Hoktaji Dowatska.
Are we students? Drogahija dowiya.
Jogahija Dawiyah.
Dowia.
Drogahija dowiya.
Jogahija
Jogahija
Dawiyah.
Dowia.
Dawiyah.
And then is that a hawk? Ma'ayo doa.
Mvhayv
Ma'ayodoa.
Ma'ayo doa.
Ma'ayo Doa.
Is she a cat? Bozi doa.
Bojoa.
Bozi doa.
Ozi Doa.
Bojoa.
And then are these books? Droga doaga.
Droga
Jogawaga.
Doaga.
Droga doaga.
Jogadowaga.
Dawaga.
Nice. Hokdagi. Yes, Hokdagi is for women. Yes. We were talking about earlier Hokduji. Hokduji for girl. Hokduji. And if you can make that one multiple. Nice. Awesome, Lawson. Go on to the next one. Pop quiz. I gotta move this so I can see it. First things first, how do you make a negative sentence with omeda? What do we put?
Dogo.
Dogo. Okay, yeah, dogo. What is the sentence order for a negative sentence? Where does dogo go?
Right in front of the verb.
Nice. Before omeda, basically, before the verb. Is the statement form and question form the same in Mvskoke or different?
Different.
Different.
Different. Very different. How do you make questions with omeda? What's the sound we add?
A lot of them.
Nice, we add so let's do them, ready? Let's do, I'm gonna write them all over here real quick. Am I? Are you? Is, I don't feel like writing them all. Are we? Are y'all? And are they? Okay, am I? What is that one?
First person singular.
Dawiyah.
Yes,
The
you're
way.
correct. It is first person singular. I was
Way.
looking for the second word. The way, yeah.
Dawiyah.
The way, yeah. Are you? Which form is that one?
Dawitska.
Nice. We got a bunch of them. Yes.
Dawitska. Dawitska. Dawitska.
I'm just gonna write 2 of them. The first 2 that I heard. Don't try to Witska. Is. How do we say that one?
Dawa.
Be.
Nice. I heard both of them. Doa, right? Or the.
Be.
Are we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We,
Dawiyah.
Nice. Do we? Are y'all?
Dowetska.
Nice.
Dowetska.
Dowetska. Slash shka. It's too long, I'm not writing the other one again. And then, are they?
Dowaga.
Aga.
Waga.
Dowaga. Nice. Awesome. Perfect. Now you can actually see them in the pretty font. You can see all the answers, right? So you add dogo. Dogo goes before omada. They are different. Statements end in s, the s. Questions end in or d. Or d. We haven't gone over it today, but just so that you're aware why they're different, right? Because we only saw today and we saw d, but there's still is for a yes or no question. D is technically both, but the version that you've learned today is only yes or no. Is used for a question word. Question. So for example, today we did Mvhayv Eli. Mvhayv Eli. Am I a teacher? You can answer that with ihi, yes, or most, no. But if I said, how about who is the teacher? Can you say yes to that answer to that question? No, we're looking for more information, right? If someone asked me who is the teacher, and I went, no, that doesn't answer the question. If anything, that just kind of sounds rude, right? So who is a question word, right? Who, what, when, where, why, how much, which, those are all question words. Those end in and we'll go through that too in the future. How do you say those questions and how do you form those endings? Nice. So in just 2 weeks, only 4 lessons, you can say on your own simple commands, aka do it, me just. You can say negative commands, aka don't do it, me jigo. You can say polite commands, please do it, me jibas. You can say group commands, aka do it, everyone, me jux. You can say let's, aka let's do it, me jigits. You can say positive omada sentences, aka this is a cat, ya borzi dos. You can say negative omada sentences. This is not a cat, borzi dogo dos. And last but not least, you could say question omada, is this a cat? Ya borzi doa. So within just these 4 lessons, we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sentences on our own. Nice. Okay, I see some hands raised. I think my next slide is literally the Aboka Ojatska. Do y'all have any questions? So let's answer some questions. Okay. First question, whoever it is, shouts it out first.
So my question is, I know you said that like all these different forms of you, like Donja and Dowetska, they're all equal, right? They're just dialectical differences.
Yes.
And Dowa and Thi. Is there any like formality involved with the differences of these? Like something you might not say to your mother, but you would say to your friend? It
So
doesn't matter.
the only one that I would really say is a difference of formality would be Doa
Dowa?
versus D. I would technically put D as a lower formality, but it's not as strict as it is in English, right? Like it doesn't feel that weird to say D to someone older or my coworker.
Okay.
But I would say it's a little less formal. The for the dialectal difference for Doncha and then Dowetska. Oh, there we go. And then there we go. The dialectal difference, there's not a formality difference. That's very unfair to say, I would say, because it's dialectal differences. But you will notice that in Mvskoke, writing. So academic writing, poetry, stuff like that, you're more apt to see this one. And I don't know why that is, because technically speaking, there shouldn't be a formality difference. But this, for some reason, that dialect tends to be seen more in literary Mvskoke than the other one. What my guess is this one might be older. And this is kind of the shortened version that's happened over time in certain areas. But that doesn't make it any lesser. They're still both just as equal. Good question. Okay. Beth Lee's question is there a polite or formal negative sentence such as please don't do it? So just the other day, I think Randy, who's also in this class, also asked that question from my personal experience. So Mvhayv, Carolyn McNack, feel free to interject. I do not believe you can add the please marker to a negative sentence. It just doesn't sound right. Instead, there's other forms that we'll look at down the line for how do you soften a command, including negative commands. So, you know, in English, I could be like, oh, please pass that. Could you pass that to me? Right? They both are like polite, but they feel different. We have that in Mvskoke, right? It's like the please sit here versus could you sit here for me? So legibus, legetski, huh? We have those versions. So we'll go over like more versions, like kind of get more nuanced over time and stuff too. Was there another question as well? Oh, I saw another hand. If not, I want to do this thing over here. Okay, so
I guess I have an unrelated question as well. If I want to read some Mvskoke literature, is there a link that you can share with us that has like a lot of resources for that?
This exact moment, I don't know if there's an online link. There's plans for a future for kind of some, but some things that you could look at, like some literary works. There's two I would recommend right off the bat. The first one is Doka Bourgeoisie. I don't know if he spells it with the O or the U. That's a difference of dialect as well. So here's both versions, Doka Bourgeoisie or Doka Bourgeoisie. And that means it's also known as New Fire. That one, all those stories are in Mvskoke and then English. And then the other one I love is, I think it's called this in English. And it's by James Hill. Mvskoke Creek Text by James Hill. I know it is Mvskoke Ometv, but that's because I don't know by the Mvskoke name. So, oh, I think I realized I think I just sent that to only Samantha. So Samantha, you got all the D's. There we go. Okay, let me fix that. So here's the spelling. That's what it means, New Fire. And then this one. Okay. And then I want us to exit this. I want us to go over here real quick so I can show you.
Mvhayv, can
Yes.
you post a link for today's lessons as well?
Yes, and I'm doing that in 2 seconds. I just want to show
Right.
you first.
Brilliant, Randy.
Okay. I want to show you this. So this is on YouTube, right? If you type in Mvskoke Obunaga, that's the word for Mvskoke language, you'll see our YouTube. So for anybody who just has never seen it before, it looks like this, Mvskoke language. This is our YouTube page. And our classes from last week are already up here. So Jordan's really good about going as fast as she can. And then specifically, I wanted to show you in playlists, Mvskoke structure and grammar. So if you ever, you're like, I know we learned how to say not is, but I can't remember, right? You can go back to Mvskoke structure and they're labeled by what I labeled that lesson that day. So this one's called Not with Ometv and Questions with Ometv. So you'll be like, okay, let's go to that one. That's what I need. Can you post a link? Yes, okay. And so here is our Google Drive. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It should be the same every time. It should just bring you to the Mvhayv section, then you go to this week's groups. So I added these guys, this, and the new answer worksheets are already in here. But so for today, it's this one. This is our question form. Let's see if I can back out of that a little bit. It's a little bit too close. There we go. And so it goes back to showing the order for the question forms, the different question forms. It has the same exact sentences from your first one, but in questions, and that way you can really see the difference. And then the backside is your new sentences for practice. Same thing with Google. So is not, shows where it goes, shows our cases, shows our forms. It's the same sentences, but now with Google in them as well. And here are our practice ones. And so just like I said, in this part right here, folder, worksheet answers, you'll already find this one and this one with their answer sheets in there as well. So all of the worksheets that we've done this week, the answers are already in the folder and everything. So we're all set. So that means this is your last chance to ask questions before I leave you all for this week and see you again next week. So any questions?
Is there like a practice group where we can all like practice talking with each other in Mvskoke?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I don't know one in particular. I don't have one. There are places I've seen things. There's a, what's that, Slack? I know there's a Slack that existed before with a bunch of people that are trying to learn. There's a Discord server for people that you can always try to convince other people like, oh, let's go in here and go to the voice channel. You can always ask people in here, say before it starts, right? You know, people, excuse me, are trickling in the chat area. You can ask like, oh, does anybody want to start a group? And then you can direct message each other emails if you want to start a group. But I don't host one. I would love to. I'm hoping that after this like round stuff, if we can start bringing another one where we can actually practice them, that'd be really awesome. Like just practice speaking, that'd be great. But I wanted to at least give us a base first before we really get into doing that. But that's a good question, and I'd love for Sophia to start doing that. She had chat groups organized over the Facebook. Yes, over the Facebook page. Yes, exactly.
Another thing that I know I wish I had more of was something where I could listen to a lot of Mvskoke that is well pronounced.
Yes, okay. If you want a bunch of Mvskoke and you don't care what it is, here's a good website. It's so hard to use this thing as a computer. So type into Google, Mvskoke Seminole Project. The first thing you're gonna see is from William and Mary Mvskoke pages, Mvskoke Seminole Creek Documentation Project. Click on this guy. This was an awesome initiative where they documented interviews and songs and all kinds of stuff in Mvskoke with Mvskoke and Seminole speakers. So they have some texts. Most of the texts they have on here are old texts or only snippets of texts. But if you want to listen to things, interviews and songs are going to be great. Interviews. So let's say I love this one. Louise Factor Cooking. She teaches you how to make sokonipki while it's all Mvskoke. So the video has subtitles in Mvskoke and in English. See if I can get just a. Of course, one of the parts she's not talking. Let me wait. Here we go. They should be talking here. So if we go down, timestamps, you can literally follow along. They'll have the Mvskoke and they'll have the English afterwards. So that's interviews, and some interviews have them physically on the screen. I think Ashley Bears has them physically on the screen when, if Ashley doesn't, I know whose does. I know whose does. It's because I had to do this with my students. It's Linda Bear. This one has them physically on the screen. So these are really good. They just talk about all kinds of stuff, and then songs, of course. So I go over here, and these are mostly going to be hymnals, but it has each one, and you just click on one of these guys. So let's say we listen to, you know what? Everybody loves these spooky days. Let's do spooky days. So click on this guy. So she's going to sing it. And it's going to have the words also in Mvskoke for you to follow along to. So if you want more listening practice, I absolutely recommend this page. And I'll also put this in the chat real quick. Yes, okay.
Mvskoke pages dot Mvskoke.pages.wm.edu.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Any other questions before we go? Next week, we're going to start present tense, which is like, I'm excited because that means that we'll be able to start saying verbs that are happening now. And then once we know present tense, then we can start talking about past tense and future tense. And I'm really excited about that. Okay, it looks like there's no more questions. Then in that case, let's go ahead and stop recording.